Can you all hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me or not? All right, cool. Perfect, guys. Perfect. All right, guys. There you go. For those of you guys who want to see it, there it is. The monster, the boulder. Okay, guys, I want to make sure we get up to about 50 people. So like this stream, hit the like button to make sure that people join, okay? It is important that people join so that we can have a very, very creative discussion here. Okay, guys, hit that like button. Hit that like button to get people to join the live stream so we can talk for the next 30 to 45 minutes. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get people involved. I want to make sure we have about 50 people before I begin to talk. Can you guys hear me? Perfect. We got 40 people. Let's wait until we get to 50. 50 people, and I'll start talking. We'll go over a couple of things that I have going on here on my channel, okay? So let's get this together. Let's get everyone involved. Hit that like button, guys, so we can get some traction and people to come and join us, okay, for a very healthy discussion. Just wanted to let you guys know that the purpose of today's stream is to let you guys ask me questions. I might go over a couple of things too that I have here that I may want to share with you guys. Okay. We are at 36. So, all right, let's just get going. People will join eventually. All right, guys. So before I start, as you guys know, should be no surprise that I am a dealer for Artisana Stands. You guys should know that, okay? If you follow me, I was very vocal about it. I am a dealer for Artisana Audio. They are a stand manufacturer, okay? And they have also something that I want to share with you guys. Okay? I'm going to share with you what I am about to start testing now as a dealer of Artisana Audio. By the way, if you are interested in knowing more about Artisana and you're interested in buying Artisana, you guys, all you have to do is go to the video description. You'll find my email and shoot me an email, okay? So anyway, what I'm going to show you is this footer, all right? Check this out. All right, this is from Artisana Audio. Comes in a nice, very nice case, wooden case from Spain. So these are footers, okay, that you do this with. Okay, see that? Okay, so these are footers that you're going to be using under your components. Okay, you see that? Now, this is very interesting. It's not a lot of money, by the way. I think it's $620 for a set. So it's not bad at all. And right now, I am using them on this. Okay, they're right under the Orender A20. Okay, that's where they are right now. I am in the process of evaluating things to see how I like them. Okay, so I wanted to throw it out there, okay, that this thing exists. Okay, and I am in the process of evaluating them. One of the things I wanted to say, guys, is that I'm never going to take on any product that I don't believe in. Okay, I'm not going to embark on that. That's not what I'm about. So I want to make sure you guys understand that. Okay, if I bring something and I put my name behind it, it is simply because I have gone back to it time and time again. I continue to like what it does. I find it essentially irreplaceable on all counts. So keep that in mind when it comes to me representing a brand, guys. If you have been following me for a while now, I have been reviewing stuff on my own for about 5 years and 5 months. Okay, if you look online hard enough, you'll find different threads, different forums where I have posted my thoughts going back as far as October of 2016. Okay, so I didn't decide to begin to take on some lines when I rolled out of bed 5.5 years ago. I actually walked the walk. I actually evaluated a lot of components before I decided that, you know what, some brands for me are just great, and I see myself buying more and more and more of the same brand. Now, guys, stands are something that most of you guys are never going to be replacing. The reality is I don't see myself going through 20 different brands of stands. I just will not do that. So it doesn't make sense for me to continue to showcase stands here on my channel, and I'm not a dealer for it. I believe that if I am going to be using a product for the long haul, years and years to come, it only makes sense that I become a dealer for that particular brand. Okay, so this is how I came about becoming a dealer for Artisana Audio. Okay, I want to make sure I say that. If you're wondering how, that's how it all happened. It all became a reality. Okay, I didn't just out of nowhere got a call from them. Do you want to become a dealer? No, I reached out to the distributor. I partnered with the distributor. We came to the right terms, and here I am, became a dealer of what I believe is one of the best stand manufacturers today. Okay, I truly believe that. You guys have seen Artisana audio stands on my channel for a long time, and guys, hint hint, there is a reason why. Because I really believe in what they do. I really believe in their and how it enhances the sound of the components that are sitting on the components that are sitting on top of these audio stands. Okay. Anyway, so I wanted to get that out the way. I'm going to take some questions right now. Okay. Let me take some questions. Guys, ask whatever you want. This is an opportunity for you all to get a little more closer to me and just have a back and forth conversation, okay, with me. Go ahead and ask me. What are you guys interested in knowing? Okay, somebody's asking me what happened with the FureTech outlets. So the FureTech outlet, guys, is still there. Okay, it's still being used. It finally broke in. It took about 1,000 hours. Okay, but it went through a lot of ups and downs. FureTech definitely made a very positive improvement on the quality of the sound that I was getting in here. Before, I never really realized how, not that it wasn't good, but how much better it could get by using a quality outlet. Okay, so I 100% would say if you have the funds and you want to improve the performance of your system and you have 500 bucks laying around, by all means, invest on a FureTech outlet. Now, I know there are other brands out there that are quite good. I know Shunyata builds great outlets as well, so I want to make sure I say this. Shunyata definitely has great outlets. I have tested some of those. As a matter of fact, I'm using a couple of Shunyata outlets myself. So I will say absolutely positive improvement on the sound that I get here in my room. Someone is asking me about Monitor Audio Platinum 500 MK2. Have I owned it? Yes, I have owned the Monitor Audio Platinum 500 MK2. Big speakers. I remember them replacing my Dynaudio Temptation, I think it was. Can't remember the model. Yeah, I think it was the Temptation, the Dynaudio or Evidence. I can't remember. It's been a minute, guys. Forgive me. I forget models. And it was a very, very impressive speaker. The Monitor Audio Platinum 500 is without a doubt a great, great sounding speaker. Now, the one thing is it needs a room. It needs a room to breathe. It's a very big and heavy speaker. I mean, I can't really say anything negative about it. I really like the presentation. I love that ribbon tweeter. It's got tremendous bass, but I do believe it definitely needs the proper amplification to make it shine. I do not know anything about this Mishi brand, or however you pronounce it. I do not know anything about it. I believe this is from Rotel, coming from Rotel. I don't really know anything about it. Someone wants to know if I had to rank DACs, where would I rank Mike's playback designs? Woof. Guys, you're asking me about another men's lines, and that's a very difficult question for me to answer because, I don't want to be like stepping on anybody's toes. I want to worry about what I'm doing here. And the reality is that I did like Playback Design. I can't say it's a bad product. I really thought it was great, great product. But everyone has preferences, guys. And I simply prefer my MSB. There's nothing wrong with that. I simply prefer the MSB DAC, which, by the way, I don't have a DAC right now. Okay, so there's no DAC. That's an R-Render A20 DAC, streamer, music server, all in one, preamplifier. It's all in one box, okay? So I'm evaluating it. So I'm just letting you guys know, be on the lookout for that review at some point. People are asking me Focal Sopras. I have owned the Focal Sopra 3s. I thought they were great, great speakers, guys. The Focal Sopra was a very clear sounding, crisp, great high frequency, great bass. I love the look of the Focal Sopra myself. I think it's a very attractive speaker. But of course, the Utopia, guys, I'm not going to lie, it's a whole new level. Now, if your budget allows for a speaker of the caliber of a Sopra 3, I do not believe that you will be disappointed. I believe the MSRP right now is somewhere around $23,000, 25 maybe, for the Sopra 3s. But I have a feeling, the Sopra 3, in my opinion, will be replaced. I think the Sopra line, in my opinion, is going to go bye-bye because it's been out for a minute. So careful. I could be wrong. This is an opinion. I want to make sure I say this, okay? Careful buying it. I do believe there might be something coming around the corner as far as a replacement for the Sopra line from Focal. Someone's asking me, why Boulder over Dagostino? There isn't really no reason, guys, as far as why Boulder over Dagostino, okay? There's absolutely no particular reason. I personally like the sound of the Momentum line. I still think it's one of the best sounding amplifiers that I have owned here in my room. I think it's got a beautiful, beautiful top end. It's so smooth, so feathery, so silky. Plus, I do love the looks, I must say. I like the Momentum and the design. And of course, Dan D'Agostino, he has his reputation and a great resume to go with it. So I can't say that it's bad product. I've always thought that some of my best amplifiers definitely came from him. And yeah, so there was really no reason why I selected Boulder. Quite frankly, guys, I have been looking for this monster here. I have been looking for that 3060, guys, for approximately 3 years. Finally located one locally here in the state of Florida, north of me. It was a mission to get it offloaded, to get it into position. But I am very happy to tell you that it has been nothing but amazing sound, nothing but impressive detail resolution. There is so much, guys, that this amplifier, honestly, so much that it does that I can't say every amplifier I've owned, including the Griffin Mephisto, has given me. Now, this is not a knock on the Griffin Mephisto. It is just a different presentation. This amp sounds different than the Griffin Mephisto. That's all I'm saying, okay? I am not saying that it's superior at all count. No, it's at this price point, guys. Please understand one thing, okay? At this price point, guys, everything is pretty good stuff, okay? Everything is really solid stuff. Whether it's CH Precision, whether it's Boulder, D'Agostino, Mephisto, Griffin Mephisto, and the list goes on and on and on, guys. The reality is all these players at this particular price point are doing exceptional things. You have to be the one to decide which one really checks most of your boxes and then bring it home and evaluate it or buy it and retire with it. So somebody's asking me about the review of the Krell 300i integrated. Guys, I do have that plan to release at some point, the review of the Krell 300i integrated. Great piece, guys. I've said it. I was very, very shocked at how good it sounded for being, I believe, $9,500. It is killer for the money. There's absolutely no question about it. All right, so what do I think about the Paradigm Persona speakers? Guys, I have owned the Paradigm Persona speakers. I believe they were the 3F or the 5F. I can't remember. A lot of clarity, interesting beryllium mid-range design. I don't think anybody else is doing. I could be wrong. I'm not sure on that. Okay. But I liked it. I thought it had a lot of detail. It's a good-looking speaker. There's really nothing bad to say about it. I mean, but I do believe, I have a feeling, again, the Persona line might go bye-bye soon, and they might have something else coming soon. Blog high-end definition. Will I speak about my acoustic treatment and details? Guys, I have actually contacted the brand of acoustic panels that you see there behind, okay? And we are in talks, okay? At some point, I think that might be a reality of me talking about more acoustic treatments. I think I'm going to be probably investing in some real serious acoustic treatments in my room. It's just me having these conversations with different brands, different manufacturers to make that a reality. But definitely see that happening in the future, in the near future. Yeah, Robert is asking, is the Boulder 3060 real Class A? Yes, guys. So Boulder uses a different design when it comes to Class A amplification, okay? I know there is an entire conversation, and that's always happening between different amplifier brands as to like what really is a true Class A design, what really isn't. Some brands are critical of Boulder's approach to Class A. A lot of these brands happen to build Class A amplifiers that run extremely hot to the point that you have to almost evacuate your room because it's that uncomfortable. I'm going to tell you one amplifier that I will never forget. This is the amplifier that made me walk out of the room after 2 hours of playback. And that would be the Passlabs XS300. Okay, that to me was a furnace. That was unbearable after 2 hours. Okay, so, and that's just the design. Okay, Passlabs believes in just consuming as much power as possible and dissipating it as heat. And that's something that Boulder doesn't believe in. So Boulder has a little more of a, I want to say, a smart approach to Class A. And essentially, as the volume goes up, the amplifier increments um, the Class A power that it's feeding the speakers. So if you have a low volume, the music, it's not pulling all this crazy power and dissipating the unused power as heat into your room. Okay, so I could be using the 3060 here for 5 hours real hard, and of course when you use it hard it gets a little warmer, but never to the levels of a Passlabs XS300 or to the level of maybe even a Griffin Mephisto and high bias. I think those amplifiers just have a different approach to Class A design, and that's totally fine. But I do like the fact that the Boulder gear, generally speaking, does not get blistering hot. It does not. It gets hot, not blistering hot like some other Class A designs that I've seen. Okay, my opinion on Estelon Forza speakers, Estelon. I think I heard those at Sonos Audio. Um, I thought it had a beautiful top end. I did like the way it presented. It actually spread the sound into the room. My only concern with the Forza, and again, guys, please, this is not coming from anybody else but me. I feel like the Estelon Forza speaker needs a big room. It needs a big room because of that woofer configuration underneath the speaker, how it's angled, like at a 90-degree angle, right? And I feel like the bass was a little too much for my liking when I heard it over at Suncoast Audio. But again, could it be just that the room was probably not deep enough? Not wide enough. I really can't say that, guys. But I want to make sure that you guys understand it is a hell of a good speaker. I know there's a lot of great reviews on it. I love the look. It's very elegant. They are from Estonia, but there's absolutely nothing negative to say about them, other than the fact that I think placement is very critical with Estelon speakers. Not that it isn't with any other speaker, but I think some speaker brands are just a lot more delicate when it comes to placement. You have to work harder to get them to sound incredible. Okay, that's just how it is. Okay, so how this is a question that I get all the time. How is wondering how Jay can afford such pieces? How can I afford this level of gear, guys? Number one, work. Number two, work. And I'm very passionate and I have been doing this for quite some time and I'm able to probably be a little more aggressive when it comes to shopping for audio than most of you guys are. See, you got to keep in mind one thing, guys. When you guys are looking for your next component, you are going to go read about it. You're going to come into my channel, I hope. You're going to talk to all dealers. You're going to do a lot of research and then go out, hopefully listen to it, spend time, talk to the wife, decide if you want to spend that kind of money, if you don't want to spend that kind of money, if the amplifier or preamplifier runs too hot or it's too heavy. You guys have to go through this process, right? I don't. I'm more aggressive. I know what I want. When I locate it, go to the bank, get a cashier's check, and I'm on my way. So this is one of the reasons why I'm successful at doing what I do. I partner with a lot of dealers that have a lot of used gear that know of me, and oftentimes all it takes is a phone call from them. Jay, are you interested in buying this, and that for your channel? And yeah, we come to agreements and check is in the mail. So they don't have to spend time with me. Dealers don't have to spend time, energy, and resources talking to me about a product. They call me, they tell me the model number, and I already know if it's a yes or a no as far as bringing that product into my channel. So there's a lot that goes into it, guys, that I probably talk about in a future video. But yes, that's really what happens. Okay, this is a good question. What did I like and did not like about the Von Stryker room? Guys, okay, this is a question that is very important. People have asked me, why haven't I highlighted the VAC Von Stryker room at Florida Audio and also at Capital Audio Fest? One reason why is because this is about preferences. This is about what I like. This is about my opinion on what good sound is or should be. I don't go after expensive gear, although my room seems to tell you otherwise. Okay, believe it or not, when I get out to a show, I turn off the price points of the gear. I go there to simply sit, submerge, and see if the system can make me fly away. And it so happens that I haven't found that feeling with the VAC Von Stryker room. I think the rooms are too massive. I think I can't get within the perfect equilateral triangle to really see if the presentation can just wrap around my head, right? And I don't know. I feel like these big rooms oftentimes just don't give some systems the ability to shine because there's so much space to fill that oftentimes it just I can't really vibe with the presentation. Does that make sense? I feel like it's a tunnel and the system is playing really, really far away from me. And when that happens, guys, I just get disconnected from the sound. Really, that's all there is to it. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't. It's got nothing to do with the sonics. I think it sounds really good. Von Stryker and VAX sound great. But maybe the only way to give you a true, honest opinion about both is by me bringing that system into my room and then telling you guys, wow, I can't believe what I heard. Maybe that's all it takes. Somebody's asking me Krell or Levinson. It depends on what type of amplifier. I mean, both of them are great brands, guys, but really, I can't answer a question like that without knowing about the rest of your system, right? You're asking me, what tires should you buy? Well, I don't even know if you have a truck, an SUV, a sports cars. It's very hard, guys, to answer those questions, okay? I can't give you, this is why I offer my consultation service. Please consider my consultation service. The email is on the description below. Reach out to me, talk to me for an hour. Let me give you my input on what I think your next purchase should be based on the equipment that you own today. Okay, please give me that opportunity to show you what I can do. Some of you guys have worked with me in the past, okay, and we are building systems together. I just flew out to Puerto Rico. You guys have seen that system, okay, so you guys have seen my skill set. Do not feel afraid to reach out to me and just have a consultation with me. Sometimes that's all it takes. You don't want to have 30 different types of options for your next purchase. Let me narrow it down to 3 or 4 and get rid of the garbage, okay? Consider that. Okay, let me see. I do not have any plans at this time, guys, to do any audio note from Japan. I don't have any, guys, unfortunately, okay? Let me look at some of the questions above. Sorry, guys, if I'm missing some questions, but I'm getting a lot of questions. Okay, so somebody's asking me something good. Has a preamp made a difference on a $75,000 plus system? Yes, a preamplifier makes a difference. I have been very vocal about the importance of a great preamplifier right there. Okay, very important. However, keep in mind, I haven't used some of the craziest, most outrageous DACs available today, which are said to have incredible potential, and even some of the ultra high-end preamplifiers available to us today. Okay, so what I will be doing is hopefully bringing a top level DAC real soon to plug it into that Boulder 3060 and see if that DAC is capable of maybe unseating that 2110 that's there. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I still prefer the preamplifier. And by the way, if you prefer the preamplifier in the mix, it doesn't mean that the DAC isn't great as a preamplifier. You just prefer whatever the preamplifier is doing for your particular setup. Diablo 300, yes, it's still a good integrated. Why is OCD Mikey system so good? Guys, I've been very vocal about it. He had a great system. It's very musical. It's very big sounding. I mean, there's really nothing else to it. I mean, he has a great sounding system. I'm not going to say he doesn't. He does. Nordos, people want to know, Nordos Odin power cords or Audio Quest Hurricane Dragon for 3D and long listening sessions. It depends on the system. Nordos can get bright with the wrong electronics. I have been very vocal about this. With the wrong electronics and the wrong speakers, Nordos can get bright. So you have to try and play with Nordos or Audio Quest Dragon and see which one really does what you need. Great choice, Griffin Essence. And by the way, guys, I am not a dealer for Griffin, and I am going to take the time right now to address this, okay? I did reach out to the Griffin distributor here in the US, the new Griffin distributor. He's located in New Jersey. I believe his name is Anthony. We had a chat about me being interested in bringing the Griffin Apex. The Griffin Apex, I inquired about it. I would love to bring it, let people hear it. I know Jeff Fritz is doing a review, but he is going to give you a written review, right? You're not going to get to see the unit with video. You're not going to get to hear it, okay? So I'm trying to fill that gap. Those things that he's not going to be doing, I want to do those things with the Griffin Apex and let you guys hear it. But Anthony did say to me that there isn't right now any available for me to evaluate. So the first one is going to Jeff Fritz over in North Carolina, I believe is where he is. And then eventually, I don't know what will happen to that unit. It may go to another reviewer. I don't think the distributor really has me as an urgent reviewer. I think he might at some point make that a reality, but he told me we're probably looking at about a year. If it's any sooner, he said he would allow me to evaluate the Griffin Apex. Okay, so I have inquired about the Griffin Apex. I have read on some of the forums that people feel Griffin owes that to me because I have been the one influencer, the only one that has reviewed just about every Griffin product today, with the exception, of course, of speakers or the CD player, things like that. But the majority of Griffin's current lineup has been here on my channel. And I know some of my followers believe that they should be putting an Apex in my room because of the body of work that I have with Griffin in the past. And if Griffin is watching this, or if you guys can send this video to Griffin, I want to say that I will be at Expona, and I am going to be looking at Griffin over there. I'm going to be specifically walking the hallways, looking to locate whoever is in charge of Griffin and having a conversation with that person, because I do have full intentions of putting a Griffin Apex in here. You guys keep asking me about it on the comment section. Guys, that's all. The only update I have for you right now is it might happen, but it might take 6 months to a year before you see a Griffin Apex here in my channel. Guys, okay, so people are asking me, and I'm going to address this here on video. I don't feel like it's appropriate for me to share or disclose what I do for a living. I understand you guys are just being curious, but it just doesn't really, it's not relevant, right? It's more, a little more personal kind of thing. So, I do have a job. I'm gainfully employed. I work a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I'm very blessed to work with some great people for a great company. And at the same time, I do this on a Sunday right now at 1 o'clock in the afternoon with you guys. And I shoot my video content on Saturdays so that it does not interfere with my main responsibilities Monday through Friday. Okay. So when I shoot content, it usually happens late hours of the night, maybe 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, or Saturday and Sundays when I'm actually creating content for you all. Okay. But I am gainfully employed. Just don't feel like it's appropriate for me to be like disclosing and all of that. It's just, there's no need for that, right? Just wanted to make sure I say that. I have not heard the Boulder 866, guys. I hear it's a great integrated, and how it compares to a Griffin Diablo 300 is very hard to say. One of the biggest things I want to articulate here, guys, is this is not one, it's like a plug and play device that you can just bring in and it fixes all your issues magically. It doesn't work that way, okay? When you are doing a system design, when you're designing your system, please be aware of one thing, okay? When you do that and you insert a new amplifier or preamplifier, okay, or a speaker, a major component, keep in mind that you have to be flexible to the possibility of having to undo what you did previously. What I mean by that is, if you buy a Griffin amplifier, let's just say, you bring it into your room and your current cabling is Nordos. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have to get different cables. I don't like how Nordos sounds with Griffin. And some people who own Griffin have told me the same thing. So you're probably going to have to not only get an Essence, bring it in, or a Mephisto or whatever, but now rework the rest of your cables. That is a thing. You are accommodating the component. You're not just replacing. There's no such thing as replacing with something different and everything works perfectly. There's always something else you're going to have to do. Maybe a better power cord. You're going to have to maybe the different interconnects. You're going to need something different. Boulder 3060 right here, for example. The Boulder 3060, in my opinion, sounded very, very bad with the VAC Master. I hated the sound of the Boulder 3060. As a matter of fact, I am going to be very open here. I hated it so much that I was about to just get rid of the 3060. I thought it was the 3060. Little did I know that no, what happens is the VAC Master doesn't have enough gain to really wake up the amplifier, to really open it up. How did I find that out? Well, because later I went ahead and plugged in the 2110 and I was like, oh my God, this is just mind-boggling what I'm hearing. Okay, so remember, again, I brought the 3060. It didn't like the Master Vac preamplifier, but the Mephisto loved the Master Vac. The Mephisto Griffin was just beautiful with the Master Vac. Okay, so and that could be the fact that the Griffin Mephisto has 31 decibels of gain. Okay, this one has 26. So what happens is the Mephisto does not need Griffin, actually, Griffin amps in general, they do not need a lot of juice from your preamplifier to wake up because they have 31 decibels of gain. I believe Sim Audio is also 30 plus decibels. I can't remember what other brands have a lot of gain, but when an amplifier has a lot of gain, the beautiful part about that is that you can use just about any line stage and the amplifier comes to life at low volume. The Boulder 3060 just has it's just a special unit. Okay, it has its requirements, electrical requirements. It has, I believe, so much transparency that if it doesn't like something, it's going to tell you. Robert, I can't really say if the 3060 is better than the Mephisto Monos. But what I can tell you is on my membership, members only, it's a pay membership, YouTube, which I haven't rolled out yet. That's going to be it's going to be deeply discussed. Okay. I'm going to be talking about that at some point. All I can say right now is they're both exceptional pieces. They're both amazing amplifiers. It isn't about being better. It's just which one do you prefer? Did I like the sound of the TAD speakers? I am interested in them. I can't really form an opinion right now, guys. To be honest, I heard them, but again, show conditions, guys. It's just so difficult, And they maybe in my room it's very different, but I was still blown away by the Borison bookshelf speakers. Yes, 60,000 USD. It's a lot of money for a bookshelf, guys. I understand it. But what I can tell you is if you close your eyes and you play those speakers, you would never believe that that's a bookshelf speaker playing. I heard that the Diablo 300 DAC is actually pretty good. The built-in DAC, the optional DAC, I heard it's pretty good. How good? I can't really say. Is it going to be better than an MSB DAC? Is it going to be better than a separate standalone DCS? No, it's not going to, guys. Okay, it's only a $5,000 DAC. Tell you about EMM Labs. I don't know what you want to know about EMM Labs. I mean, I just have no experience with it. I have no experience with EMM Labs other than the fact that they sounded phenomenal with Joseph Audio at Capital Audio Fest in 2021. That was my number one room, my number one pick. Never heard of that. Duke Audio, never heard of that. Have I heard of Darziel amplifiers? Darziel amplifiers. My take on Darziel amplifiers. Let me tell you about my take on it. I would say it is beautiful looking stuff. Phenomenal chassis, phenomenal, just aesthetics are just beautiful. I read a lot about it. I haven't heard it. I haven't even seen it in person. I can't really give you an opinion from a sound perspective, but I can tell you that I would love to have it. It's just so hard to find, guys. It's very difficult stuff. The amplifiers don't have a lot of power. They don't even double down as the impedance lowers. So I don't know. I hear they don't really have a lot of bass, but again, this is kind of like just narrative right now. I don't have my own form opinion on Darziel. I would love to have the 468 that I believe Michael Fremer has in his house that he uses with the XVX. I would love to try those and see how they sound in comparison to the Boulder 3060. But the chances of that happening, guys, are very slim to none. Those amplifiers are very hard to find. Have I tried the Block Audio preamp? Guys, I will tell you this. A lot of questions about Block Audio. I have owned Block Audio twice. You guys have never seen it in my room, but I have had the full Block Audio setup. Amp, preamp, and I have heard it extensively, okay? I have a ton of experience and a ton of feedback about Block Audio. At some point, I will be very vocal about block audio. I will give you my opinion. If what you need to know immediately is it good stuff, it's great stuff. I have heard about Eaglestone Work Speaker. They are supposed to be really good speakers, but I don't have any experience with them, but I haven't heard anything bad about them. Audio Vector, Magical or Vivid 3. I can't talk about Audio Vector. I have never heard of that speaker brand. Okay, so good question. Why do you need so much power for focals? Guys, let me explain to you the beautiful part about power. You got a 900 watt, okay, 900 watt per channel amplifier there, right? Class A. Okay, you see it there. Okay, here's the beautiful thing about power. When you have a lot of power, when you have this massive amount of current, right? What happens is when you turn the volume, when you're listening at low volumes, okay, there's so much overhead, so much excess power that the speakers begin to open up at a lower volume level. Does that make sense? It just feels as if the music begins to open up and you haven't even started to crank up your system. When you have low power amplification, what happens is you need to crank it up to get the sound to come out. When you have so much power readily available like this, you don't have to do that. You even get great bass at lower volume listening levels, okay? So that's one of the biggest advantages of having a lot of power. It isn't just about your speaker doesn't need it. Clean power like this, any speaker can use. Now, I'm not saying go out there and buy a Boulder 3060 for a horn speaker that's 110 decibels efficiency. It's stupid. That's going to be dumb, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But the majority of speakers out there could definitely benefit from a lot of clean power, especially at lower listening levels. That's where you are able to usually understand the differences between low power amps and high power amps. I have never heard the Mola DAC. Never heard it. I have never heard about. Let me see. Okay, what other questions you guys have? Let me see. We have 100 guys. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button, please. Help me out. Help me out. Hit the like button, okay? So we can get more people involved and I can continue to just do this for another 15, 20 minutes. Hit that like button, guys, okay? Get us in here. Get us up. Hit that like button. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you all. Okay, so transparent generation 6 cables. Guys, I have the transparent XL, reference XL generation 6 interconnects. I don't have their speaker cables at this time. I have the generation 5, which are great cables. I have heard of Martin speakers, beautiful speakers. I believe there is a model that I was very interested in. It was called the Martin Coltrane 3, I think it is. Michael Fremer reviewed it. I thought it was a great, interesting review. The feedback I have gotten is that it's a great looking speaker, but it's very bright. Feedback. I'm not saying this. I was told. I can't really speak about it, okay? I'm sharing with you what came to me. Do I think Class D amps are the future of hi-fi? I think at some point we will go Class D because the world as a whole is going to be more concerned with regards to power consumption. I think eventually it will just be nature. It's just going to be where we're going to be headed. I believe in the next 10 years, we are going to start seeing less gas power vehicles. And the government is going to step in and say, starting 2030, no more gas power vehicles. Every manufacturer now has to produce electric vehicles. I believe Class D will be no different. I think it will be getting to a point at which we are going to be just more concerned about sucking a lot of power from our homes, and it will be just nature. It will just happen. Class D will be the future. Do I think that's going to be in the next 5 years? No. I don't think so. But I do believe that once that movement, the electrical car movement, begins to really hit hard, I do believe audio manufacturers will start to look at different resources in different ways to make everything more efficient. This whole thing of consuming 2,000 watts of power, this is going to go away over time. This is going to go away. I don't know when, but I believe this is going to go away. I have heard of Siltic cables. PS Audio Direct Stream DAC for USD. I like PSD. Look, PS Audio, the PS Audio DAC, I've had the direct stream, guys. I know some of you guys may not know that, but I have had the direct stream DAC. It's a great DAC, guys. What I like about Paul and his team, they're very, very responsive. These guys are so responsive. It's like Boulder. I don't know if it's a thing actually from Boulder, Colorado, because I know they're in Colorado too, PS Audio. PS Audio's there. But there's people that are very customer service oriented. All these companies working out of Colorado are awesome people. Like I almost want to move there, if I'm being honest, because they're so friendly. They're so about helping you. They're so about making sure you love the brand and they're standing behind their product. And that to me is like, it just elevates the perception of the brand for me. I can't stand brands that I am hounding to get answers from them, that I am constantly trying to figure out, can you please respond to the emails? I've sent you 3 emails, no answer, nobody gets back to me. I can't stand that, guys. It's just one of my biggest pet peeves with audio is if you can't hear me and my questions, if you can't get back to me in over the next 3-4 days max, it's like, gosh, it just immediately I start to fall out of love with the brand. Okay. And PS Audio is that brand that, man, they're so passionate about what they do. They're very, very involved. They're very invested. And so your relationship with them continues over time, even after the product, doesn't have warranty. They continue to support you. So overall, I think they're great. Dynaudio. Okay, guys. So this is a good question. And yes, forgive me. I am picking questions that I find interesting. Okay. Dynaudio are the new confidence line. Guys, I don't know what happened to Dynaudio, guys. The reality is, I remember the C4. Do you guys remember the C1 Dynaudio Confidence Platinums? Um, I had those. I thought they were magnificent, magnificent speakers. Then I had the C4 Platinums, amazing. Then I had the C2 Platinums, amazing. But I don't know what happened with this next generation of Dynaudio Confidence speakers. Guys, I feel like it hasn't really taken off in the United States. I feel like there hasn't been a lot of press. I feel like it's just so it almost got buried by other brands. I don't know why that happened to Dynaudio. I feel like their earlier big evidence master speakers were just like, wow, like they were just, everyone knew what they were. But this new generation, this new breed of Dynaudio speakers, the feeling I get, not because I've owned them, I have never owned them, but the feeling I get in my perception is that it hasn't really taken off. It hasn't really been as desirable. That doesn't mean they sound bad. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't feel like the perception is the same as it once was for Dynaudio. Have I ever heard Tidal speakers? I heard them at Capitol Audio Fest. I thought they sounded good, and they're very beautiful looking too. Never heard. I have never heard the Berkeley Alpha Reference 3 DAC. I have never heard it, guys. Will I ever consider audio research? I actually do have an audio research reference 6 SE, and it sounds phenomenal with the Boulder 3060. It sounds amazing with the Boulder 3060. Okay, it really does. No intentions, guys, at this time of having any sort of subwoofers added. Excuse me, to my 2-channel operation. Subwoofers for me are strictly for home theater. I want my amplifiers to do the work. I want them to do the legwork of managing the low registers. Hit that like button, guys. Help me out. Hit that like button. Let's get more people involved. Hit that like button. So, guys, yes, plans to do Sonos Faber. Sonos Faber has been a brand that I have wanted for a long time. Very much so, guys. I have wanted Sonos Faber for a very long time. Unfortunately, guys, it is a very difficult brand to acquire. I don't have a lot of resources. I don't have a lot of dealers that work with me at this time with Sonos Faber, because the reality is COVID has affected the supply chain as well. But what I can say to you is, at some point, I do plan to bring a Sonos Faber speaker. I would love to, from the bottom of my heart, I would love to bring the AIDA 2. The AIDA 2 has been in my dreams for a long time. I must be honest about that. The AIDA 2 has been that speaker that I have wanted for just an amazing amount of time. It's been about 3 years since I've been dreaming about an AIDA 2. But for one reason or the other, the stars didn't align, and so I wasn't able to get an AIDA 2. But it is definitely a speaker that I would love to own in the future. Rockport speakers. So I have texted with several dealers in regards to Rockport speakers. I am interested in buying a Rockport speaker as well. Sonos Faber, Rockport speakers are two brands that are on my radar. I definitely would love to at some point bring them. I'm also interested in Borison. Okay. Borison speakers are definitely on my radar as well at some point. I'm not saying I'm getting rid of my focals. I may just have them here with my focals. But I'm actually enjoying the Maestros a lot, to be honest with you. I really am enjoying them. So, but those are the three speaker brands that at some point I would like to try. I do not have any Constellation components at this time, but that may change sometime in the near future. So, my wife, how do I get my wife to agree for me to spend $100,000 in hi-fi? My wife actually was the one who encouraged me to build this room. She was the one who told me, get out of the house, get out of the living room. You're waking up our daughter, and I need to get up early in the morning to feed her and all of this. So she was the one who pushed me to build this room. I'm glad I heard her. She doesn't care what I buy. She doesn't care if I bring an entire store into the room. She doesn't get involved in any of this. This is my operation here. She knows this is my passion. I am really involved with a lot of you guys, and so she doesn't really, as long as I communicate with her, she doesn't get involved. I've happened to be blessed with having a wife that simply is very separate from my efforts here at Jay's Audio. Okay, she doesn't really care. Honestly, she sees boxes arrive. I get a text. You got a box here. That's all I get. That's the only thing. You got a box here. So sometimes she comes into the room and dumps a bunch of like envelopes or boxes from like power cords and like things like that, but she does not care about this because I'm a very responsible person with my job. I'm responsible as a father, as a husband, and I take care of my responsibilities first and foremost, which is family. Then I get to spend time with you guys. So this is why I happen to have a great relationship with her. Differences on between. So I feel like, so this is a good question. Should you guys use optical, coaxial, AES, USB for digital transfers, right? That's a good question, guys. I'm going to say that my experience has been that USB sounds better to me. I have tried AES, including the AES, the dual AES outputs on the render, into the DCS Vivaldi. I got great results. Do not get me wrong, I did. But I've always found like the USB module just was more polished for me. I heard less digital artifacts, if that makes sense. But either, I mean, both of them, AES or USB, are going to be phenomenal. My preference seems to be always USB. Have you ever heard or more speakers? No, I never. Let me see. You mentioned that you'll try the Puritan mains filter. So yeah, so I'm gonna show you something. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys something. Give me a minute. Okay, brand new, never opened. I'm gonna try this thing, okay? Puritan. It's a Puritan. I think it's called. Okay, so I'm gonna be trying that Puritan Labs unit, okay, at some point. Just so you guys know, I plan to evaluate it at some point. It's affordable. It's like, I believe, $2,600, or maybe a little more. I can't remember. So at some point, I'm going to evaluate that piece just to see how I like it. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Support me there. Hit that like button. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a little more because your guys are being really responsive. So get those thumbs up. If you're late to the party, get them up. Get those thumbs up. Like the video so we can continue to make this productive. And I'm trying to make sure I engage with all of your questions today. I am in a great mood. I feel happy today. Happy to be able to share this with you guys on a Sunday. Hopefully you guys are having fun, enjoying a drink or two, and, you know, just having a conversation with me. I still own the Tyco Extreme or Taco Extreme. I still have it. Yes, it's still here. And I have the latest USB upgrade. When I bought it, Emil did set it up for me to come with the latest USB module. So yes, I have never heard FM acoustics, so I couldn't tell you about that. Wow. Let me see. Vivid or magical? Oof. Vivid speakers or magical? Guys, you guys are putting me on blast here. Like, come on, guys. You can't be asking me those questions. You know, you can't be doing that to me. Those questions are not allowed, okay? Can't be answering that right now. So let me see. Set amplification. You know what? I don't have any experience with set amplifiers. Maybe I should begin to venture into that. But I do believe that they are supposed to be quite special. Okay, but I don't have any experience with them. Okay. No, the sound, all my demos come from the Taiko or Taiko Extreme, okay? So I use the Taiko Extreme as a music server. Right now, I am evaluating again the Orender A20. That's what you see there, okay? I have no DAC at this time. Zero DAC right now. Amplifiers that I regret selling. Amplifiers that I regret selling. This is going to be an interesting conversation. I can tell you that Luxman has always been an amplifier that I had regretted selling, but I sold it because of the fact that I had done my time with it, not because I was tired of it. It's just that sometimes things for me can't sit here for a long time because I have to try to chase the next item that piques my interest. Okay. But Luxman can certainly be that one brand that I can really say I miss from time to time. So definitely. And I am very excited to hopefully be able to review the new Luxman 10, 10X, I think it is, the new model that replaces the 900U. So that will happen. I can assure you that the new Luxman will make an appearance here on my channel. So please definitely be on the lookout for that. But that probably won't happen until the end of the year because they don't have any right now. Good question. Which is better, a $100,000 stereo amp or a $100,000 mono amp? Guys, I can say to you that the Boulder 3060, and I'm going to refer to the Boulder 3060 because it is the most expensive stereo amplifier that I believe exists. I could be wrong, so I'll say that. But if I am not wrong, it is built to a level that is just incredible, right? So this stereo amplifier can easily best just about any mono amplifier I've owned here, okay? And when I mean besting, I mean it has certain qualities that it just outdoes the competition. And it doesn't need to be a mono to really outperform a lot of mono amplifiers. So is it possible that a stereo amplifier can be better than monos? Absolutely. I can assure you that a $60,000 or $65,000 Boulder 2160 can outperform a lot of amplifiers that are monos and that hover around that price point. Absolutely. There's absolutely no question about it. So it's got to do, I think, with the design of the amplifier, who they are, what goes in them, the quality of the parts. It doesn't really have to do so much with the fact that you're comparing a single chassis against two chassis. It's got more to do with the passion and the engineers behind each type of amplifier. That really is the most important thing. I already went over the Griffin Apex, guys. I gave you guys an opinion on the Griffin Apex. If you need to refer to that, please watch the video from the beginning. I have already addressed all questions with regards to the Griffin Apex. I have never done room correction for two channel, guys. I said it. I said this on my last webcast or live stream that I don't believe in room correction for two channel, but it's got nothing to do with the fact that I may think it sucks or it doesn't have any value. No, I just personally don't like to use software to fix room issues. But I do understand why some of you may have to resort to that because your room is just not optimal and you have to do what you can to correct these issues. I personally, I have a dedicated room. I rather work with acoustic treatments, repositioning the speakers, moving my chair around to get the best performance out of my setup. I personally don't believe room correction for me is applicable, is something that I will be doing. No. The silver product that you guys see on my gear is part of the Artisana Stands. That is a device that's like a weight. You put that on top and it just compresses the piece against the stand. It also demagnetizes the component. It does a lot of cool, neat things. Okay. So it's another accessory to the Artisana stand. Okay. So that comes when you buy the Master Keel stand. It's part of the package, okay? This is why there's so much money. But you can buy those devices separately and directly from Artisana. If you want to order anything from Artisana, you guys can just reach out to me on my on the description using the email in the description below. You'll see it, and you can just reach out to me. Have I heard the MSB M500 monos? Guys, I have not heard the MSB 500 monos. I hear they are great amplifiers built to like the extreme, but I personally have not. Maybe I will have at some point a conversation with MSB to see if if MSB allows me to perhaps evaluate them in my room. As you guys know, I have been the owner of an MSB reference DAC for a while now, and I no longer have it because I'm going to replace it. So I definitely like the MSB approach to digital sound reproduction. I really do. Will I compare the Tyco Extreme to other servers? So, okay, let me think about that question. Will I compare the Tyco Extreme to other music servers? Guys, the reality is I would love to do that. Okay. I really, really think that it would help to articulate things for the masses as far as how the Tyco Extreme um, outperforms or may not outperform another music server. Okay. What it does that others do not do, and vice versa. That could potentially come at some point, guys, but I can't tell you for with certainty when that will be. Okay. Because as you know, the Tyco Extreme is one of the best music servers available today. I can definitely say that to you guys. Emil and his team are top-notch people. They are easy to work with. They are so on top of it. It's like they are remoting into your devices. They're so responsive. Their customer service, again, and I'll articulate it again. For me, at this level where I am today, and you guys should take a page or two out of my book, customer service is important. Please always try to find information, feedback from others in regards to the transaction, the support after the transaction takes place. Emil is amazing, an amazing person. He is incredible to work with. He is super responsive. The Tyco Extreme is his baby. So as long as you own it, he will be there to support you every step of the way. So if I will do a review and perhaps compare it to another music server, I could see that happening, but it's probably not going to happen right now in the near future, but you never know. Do I feel that the system in Puerto Rico is better than the one I have here? I think that system in Puerto Rico sounded phenomenal, man. That system in Puerto Rico was really special, guys. I got to tell you, that was incredible, guys. It had a lot of it, a lot of body, sound stage, spaciousness, a lot of nuance, detail. It was very articulate. I was surprised at the bass that the Alexes gave me. Man, those suckers did not punch like that in here. I was mad at them. I wanted to kick them. I wanted to just freaking flip them. Like I just was so mad because they had so much bass over there and they never quite gave me that thump and that thrust in here. And again, that goes to show you that every speaker is not made for every single room. You have to find a speaker that works for your room. But yes, the Puerto Rico room, man, it's one of the best rooms I've heard. And I mean it, not because I was there. I'm telling you, that system is killer, absolutely killer. Will I attend the Munich high end? I will not be able to attend it, guys. I work a 9 to 5. It's kind of hard for me to go away. You need at least a week to go to Munich, but I do plan to go to Munich at some point. Maybe next year I'll be ready to go. I want to get out there to also scout the products from Germany and other parts of the world, products that never make it into the United States, and just be able to talk about those to you, to let you guys know what other parts of the world are producing. Okay, so that is something that I would love to do at some point, hopefully next year. Uh, what's the same pair Alex as you? Yes, so the Alexes in Puerto Rico are the same Alexes I had here. Yes, those are my former Alexes. Yes, everything you saw there essentially was mine. Just about everything there was mine, was in my room. What is the differences between the 3060 and the 2150 from a sound quality standpoint? Great question. This is something that a lot of people are going to want to know. But why don't I just make a video about that at some point? I think I can articulate it better. What I will share with you guys, okay, I got to share this with y'all. I'm getting this gut feeling, this hunch, this um just a feeling, okay, from my exposure to a lot of power amplifiers. I get a feeling that the 240-volt amplification sounds better than the 120. I just don't know why I feel this. And maybe I'm just a little misguided or not thinking things thoroughly right now, but I'm going to tell you, it feels as if the 240-volt amplifiers have this impact, more like body, much more forcefulness, like more energy. I can't explain it because remember the 2150s that I had here, monos, if you remember this, they have more power than this. But I feel as if this amplifier has just much more, yeah, it pressurizes the room better. The bass feels so much tighter. It's so much faster. And again, is it because maybe the 240 volt configuration is just better for amplifiers? I can't really say because this is the only 240 volt amp I've owned, but I'm starting to wonder, guys, if 240 volts, if things in 240 volts sound better than 120. I don't know. And by the way, the Boulder 2110 is universal. Universal. In case you guys do not know, it actually allows you to plug it into 120 and 240. So I can plug it into either outlet and it automatically switches itself internally on the fly. So maybe what I'll do is I'll plug it into 120 and listen, and then plug it into 240 and listen and see if I prefer 240 over 120. Maybe that's the only test I can do right now. But I'm starting to get that feeling that 240 amplification might be better than 120. Okay, so do you plan to bring in the new DCS Vivaldi? I don't plan to bring the DCS Vivaldi Apex unless there is a dealer out there that wants to facilitate this. I would be more than happy if I happen to locate, or if you know of anyone selling a Vivaldi Apex or a Rossini Apex. My email is always in the description below. You guys can contact me there if you have any sort of connections that can facilitate new products for me. Guys, I'm always open. I'm always shopping. I'm always buying. So if you're a dealer and you're watching me and you have used products, if you have trading products that you need to sell, guys, I'm available. I'm only an email away. You can always send me an email and we can talk about this, okay? Because I do need product for my channel so I can keep pushing the channel forward. I have never heard anything of the Odyssey gear. Is there anything that could beat a Boulder 3060? Okay, so perfect question here, but I'm not going to talk about that question specifically. I'm not going to address that question specifically. Some of you guys are always asking me, oh, today you loved 2 days. How is it possible that you hated the 2060 and you love the 3060? Okay, this is a question that I can tell right off the bat. It comes from a person who does not have a lot of experience and doesn't know Boulder. If you know the Boulder models, you would immediately know 2060 is an amplifier of the 2000 lines built around 1999, originally designed in 1999, right? The 3000 series, which is the 3060, is their top model, top of the line, above the 2000 series, right? The 3000 series came out approximately 2013 or so. So it hasn't been around for 20 years, 22 years. So when I hear these questions, people always think that I'm contradicting myself because I say the 2060 sucked yesterday. It wasn't any good. And today the 3060 is great. Guys, they're two completely different machines. They're not even close. They're not even in the same conversation. The only thing they have in common is the color of the chassis and the name. Everything else is completely different. Okay, so this is the reason why I will say it. I hated the 2060. I never liked it. I thought what I was listening to was very veiled, didn't have the detail, it had a lot of power, but it was just power. It didn't have the things that the Griffin Mephisto or the Griffin in general did, or it just didn't have all the nuance that the new current level of amplification has. And it could be just due to the fact that they were using parts that were available in 1999. That amplifier doesn't use new transformer design, new capacitors from Mondorf capacitors, maybe different wires. I don't know. So keep that in mind, guys, when you're wondering, when you're asking me these questions. Evolution is a thing, guys. Today, I am completely enamored with the 3060. Guys, but right now, as you and I are having this conversation, there's probably somewhere, somebody in the world, some brand right now is building their next AK-47. Somebody is building right now the next big, the next big thing. It's just evolution, guys. Time is not meant to be standing still. Time doesn't stand still. So it's common sense that today, 2022, I'm having this conversation telling you all I I am completely head over heels the Boulder 3060. But maybe in 2024 there is something else that comes out. It's common sense. That's what's supposed to happen. That's just how, especially when it comes to electronics. Okay, so don't knock me. Don't feel like I'm changing my story, because that's not what's happening. What's happening is things are moving forward. It's just change. It happens. Okay, so today, as of today, I am 100% sold on the Boulder 3060. Would I consider Macintosh? Great question, since I had a great video in which I articulated very, very specific things about the Macintosh brand. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and regurgitate these things. A lot of these brands that I have had here in my room would not exist had it not been for Macintosh. They have paved the way for other brands to build product and also make money. Macintosh has been successful for a long time and for a reason. Okay. They have the business model tight. They run a tight ship. They know how to stay successful. And in my opinion, if it weren't because of the things that they have done, others would have never came up with the idea of becoming a manufacturer and begin to build products. So we owe a lot to Macintosh. We do owe a lot to them. Okay. My stepfather was head over heels in the 90s for Macintosh. He was like, he's Jamaican, by the way. My stepfather is Jamaican. And in Jamaica, Macintosh is a big thing. If you guys don't know, in Jamaica, Macintosh is like, whoa. It is like, you're the boss, okay? And so I grew up listening to Macintosh. And when I gave, my comments about Macintosh, it was only from a reviewer's point of view, not criticizing the company for everything that they have accomplished, for all their accolades, because they deserve all the accolades they have. They deserve everything. Okay. I just want them to just build next level stuff. Okay. But I understand that they are trying to remain profitable, especially during these difficult times that some companies are going out of business. I get that. I would love to own a pair of Macintosh 901s. To be honest with you, I would love to hear those amps connected to the to the Utopias behind me. I'm sorry. I would love to hear those amplifiers. I really would love to hear the Macintosh 901s in my room. I almost bought a pair of Macintosh 2.0, 2KWs, I think it is, the 2000 watts, 3 chassis models. I almost bought a pair of those approximately a year ago. So I have had intention of doing a Macintosh. I had really, really wanted to. Okay, but it just didn't happen for one reason or the other. At some point, I'm sure I will try to bring one. But please understand one thing: I don't hate on any brand. That's not what I'm here for. I want to grow. I want to grow and grow with you all. Okay, and the J that you saw in the early stages of my channel, the J that was a little more rough around the edges, the J that you saw that wasn't really perhaps being not, I wouldn't say politically correct, but I wasn't as clear and as focused as I am today with this. That's the beginning, Jay. Okay, I'm starting to also be part of the evolution. I have to grow. I have to change. I have to learn to understand the different angles of a product. I have to understand the reasons, the do's and the don'ts of the industry. I have to be mindful that you know, I can't just poop on product, okay, and get away with it. That's just that was my early journey in the beginning stages over about 2 years ago. Now I'm more like I'm trying to be a lot more polished. I'm trying to, and I think you guys can see that. Okay, you can see my growth because I'm trying to provide you much more accurate results, much more accurate feedback and reviews so that you guys could even just connect with me and believe more in what I do, more in my body of work. Okay. I've been reviewing stuff behind closed doors for about total of about 8 years, documented my journey 5.5 years ago. And you guys, my YouTube followers, have only seen me for two. But the reality is, I've done this for like close to 8 years. Okay. If you must know. So just wanted to give you that context. Okay. Okay, so people are asking me about vinyl. Guys, vinyl right now is an afterthought for me. I can't really concentrate on vinyl, guys, because as I mentioned to you, I do work, I have responsibilities. I just don't have the time to maintain or dedicate to vinyl, to buy in vinyl, to turntable arms and cartridges and all of this. And I just don't have that bandwidth, guys, to be honest with you, okay? But I'm not saying that it doesn't work, that it doesn't sound good. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just for me, for what I do. Vinyl right now just does not have a place in my room because of time constraints, okay? Just remember that. Nagra gear. Any plans to try Nagra gear? I would love to, guys. I would love to try their HD gear. Their monos, I hear their preamplifier is incredible. It is a lot of money. I think it's like $70,000. I would love to try the Nagra gear, but I really do not know if it will happen anytime soon. It's such difficult components to come by. That's the truth. Some components, guys, I can't grab them. Like they slip out of my hands. I try to, guys. Believe me, I have tried to get you guys a lot more juicy stuff, but it's so difficult to do. CH Precision is a brand that I have tried. I do have a distributor or a dealer. I think he might be the distributor. I'm not sure. No, he's a dealer. I do have a local this dealer that he's probably 15, 20 minutes from me. Maybe I should reach out to him to see if maybe I can come out and evaluate CH Precision. It's a brand that I've contemplated. Can't talk about it. I can't tell you it's good or bad. It doesn't sound great. I can't say that because look, guys, I haven't owned it. Okay, and I'm not going to do that. So, but I do believe CH Precision has to be phenomenal stuff. Has to be. Okay. Grounding. People are asking me about fuses. Fuses. Why don't I use fuses? Guys, it's very simple. Um, I think fuses are the final touch-ups, the final stages of the completion of your system. When you're at the end of the road, the end of the journey, you've got all your components picked out. You got everything you've needed, right? Then you come in and you do fuses. Why? Because at that point you're fine tuning. You're doing the final. You're turning the wrenches, your wrenches, the last few times before you close shop and you call it a day, right? So I never get there. I will never get there. I may never try fuses hardcore like some of you guys do because I just, for me, I change components too much. That's the truth. So that's why I just they don't have a place in my room right now. I listen to headphones primarily while I'm at the gym working out. I don't listen to headphones for like two channel purposes. So no, I try to not listen to a lot of music out and about. So the reason for that is because I try to preserve my hearing. Um, I listen, for instance, to uh, wireless earbuds at the gym. Like I think they're called Beats by Dr. Dre. I just listen to those because they stay in my ears. They don't fall out when I work out. And then in my car, normal volumes, nothing crazy. But I never blast like music outside of my room because I don't want to constantly pound my hearing everywhere I go. So I leave my critical listening, my loud listening for my room only, and the rest is just like background music for me to work out or go out, and enjoy my time in my car. But I don't crank up music really loud outside of my room. Okay, Relentless Monos, Dan Agostino or D'Agostino, however you want to say. I feel that I would love to try the Relentless Monos. This is a conversation that I wanted to have openly. I would love to bring him in here, install it. I can actually run it off of one of my 240-volt outlets. They do need dedicated 240-volt outlets. I would love to. I mean, if that's something that could be facilitated somehow, I would love to bring him in here. I have no doubt that amplifier is incredible too. So it's just another data point for me to talk about. So as I mentioned to you guys, at this level, nothing sounds bad. Absolutely nothing. It is just you choosing the type of suit, the type of material you want to feel up against your skin. Okay, does that make sense? So remember that nothing will be bad at this level. Nothing. You just select your poison and check your pockets too. What else do you guys want to know? We got to take a couple more questions. We've been doing this for 90 minutes. Let me see. Okay, I'll take this opportunity. Okay, so have I heard Avantgarde speakers? Yes, I actually heard him at in 2019 Expona. I heard him with some esoteric integrated. It was incredible. I really did like them. So I do like Avantgarde speakers, but I need to sit with them over long periods of time to see if they fatigue me. That is the only thing I am very critical of. When I evaluate a component, the way I know if it's a keeper is by spending time with it. I need to make sure that I listen to it. And if it fatigues me after 45 minutes, I need to start making changes. Cables here, a cable there, a footer. I begin to do these tweaks. And then that's how I know, can I sit in front of it for hours on end, or is it something that just gets to me too quick? And if it gets to me too quick, it typically gets sold. Yeah, I already spoke about Martin speakers. Please see the beginning of my YouTube video. Of this video. I just so you know, guys. So excuse me. So you guys are aware. I already spoke about Martin. I already spoke about Apex, Griffin. All of that's on this video. You guys will see it once I record it. Once it's finished, done. It's over with. Sorry, you guys will get to see that. We'll get to see the video in its entirety. So maybe you can circle back and watch it. How many hours do I listen to music in my room per day? Guys, I listen to approximately um, 2 hours, not every day, maybe every other day, about 2 hours. And then I take notes and change a couple of things. But that's about it, about 2 hours every other day. Kimber cable. I have never owned any Kimber cable. I hear it's really good stuff. They've always created amazing, phenomenal cables. I just haven't had any exposure to the brand, and the truth is, I would love to, but I hear nothing but great things about Kimber cables. My thoughts on MBL systems. MBL for me is a speaker. First of all, it looks beautiful. Okay. German stuff, as we all know, it's gorgeous stuff. I mean, anything that comes from Germany, it's just good looking. I mean, let's tell it like it is. Um, but it's a different sound. It's that omnidirectional sound. You got to get used to it. Okay, we are oftentimes used to directional speakers, right? And what happens is when you're taken out of your comfort zone into something that sounds entirely different, it takes time getting used to it. And maybe if I sat in front of MBL and lived with it for a few months, I may never go back and leave the MBL sound for all I know. I don't know. But when I heard MBL, I just felt like things were not focused. There wasn't a lot of imaging. It lacked image density, if that makes sense. Like Wilson Audio is known to have two speakers like this and do this. The speakers do this with Wilson Audio, right? Like flashlights, very intense, the imaging. MBL is a lot more mellow and it's a little more diffuse. So you really can't quite capture that separation as good as what you hear through a directional speaker. So that's really my thoughts on MBL. Yeah, BNC cables, guys. If you're looking at a DCS unit and you're trying to use a clock, I highly recommend BNC cables. Yes, guys, it will make a difference. But I don't believe in you spending money on expensive Nordos BNC cables if the rest of your system doesn't even have great power cords or great speaker cables. BNC cables becomes that last final cable that you do, okay? But work on the bigger cables first, okay? Concentrate on the bigger, more important cables before you get to the BNC cables, before you get to the footers, even before you get to stands. Work on the bigger things. I do like the fewer tech outlet. I do. I definitely have positive thoughts about it. No question about it. My end game rig, I don't think I have had it yet. Um, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what components it would have. I don't know if it would be a solid state rig or if it would be a tube rig. I don't know, guys. What I can tell you is my end game rig would have to take me out of the room and make me fly away. That much I can tell you. If it doesn't transport me in time, and when I hear a song, it doesn't make me remember where I was when I first heard that song and what I was doing, that's not my end game rig. It has to be able to take me out of the room. That's the only thing that I can 100% tell you it must do for me. Have I ever heard Bryston or Briston, however you want to call it, Bryston amps? Yes, I have owned a lot of Bryston amplifiers. Great construction, 20-year warranty, built to last, no drama, great company to work with, highly responsive. Um, Great. I mean, it's a great product. I already spoke about Macintosh, guys. If you're wondering my opinion on Macintosh, please watch the entire video again. You will see it. You will see a link soon of the video so you can circle back and watch all my opinions on Griffin, on Macintosh, and other particular topics. What kind of music got me into this game? Guys, so if you ask me, what do I listen to? I'm keeping it real here, okay? We're having a discussion. Grown men here having a talk, and I know you guys are enjoying this. Um, I don't listen to like a lot of the audiophile stuff, okay? I don't listen to the Diana Krall. You're never gonna catch me listening to Diana Krall just because. Sorry, you're not going to. You're not gonna catch me listening to a lot of the typical music suspects that we play all the time, okay? If you ask me when I'm trying to not do my job in here with regards to audio, right? When I'm trying not to be a reviewer, what I listen to primarily is the 80s. I love classic rock. I love some Metallica songs. I love some techno like Dead Mouse, Tiesto. Um, I love even some of the more mellow, soft songs like even Cyndi Lauper, believe it or not. I listen to Roxette, listen to the heart, that type of music. I enjoy that. I really enjoy it because although you see me as a big dude here, and I am about 260 pounds right now, believe it or not, I have a soft side inside. I have a soft side. I actually happen to be a person that it's hard for me to be rude or hard, like harsh with people. Like it's not in my nature. Like I try to be as logical as possible. And so romantic 80s classical music. I'll give you an example. Perfect song. You guys have seen the movie Over the Top. Kenny Loggins. I love his music. Honestly, it's poorly recorded, but I love the soundtrack from Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone and Kenny playing all the music. I love the entire album. I love that type of music that it's slow and it makes you think and it relaxes you. That type of music takes me away. Okay, so maybe it's just my nature that I get much more in touch with that type of music, even though it's poorly recorded. Hey, it just really influences my emotions. That's really all that matters. I have never owned anything from Terra Labs. Yeah, I have a soft spot. I'm telling you, I'm a big dude, but it could be my military background. I was in the army, and I had to be, soldier, and I have that in my DNA. But deep down, like you can strike up a conversation with me and level with me, and man, it's like I don't have bad intentions towards anybody. Like it's just you could do me wrong today, and yeah, I'm gonna be angry, and yeah, I'm gonna be, not pretty bitter and salty with you. But believe it or not, over time, like I get over stuff because life is too short, man. Like I can't be hating on everybody and have that negativity in my heart, because I feel like the more hate you have in your heart, the less space you have to love and to really care for the things that are important in your life. So I live by that. I have the more hardship, the more softness at home. I have heard of Octave Audio. I actually did have Octave Audio tube amplifiers in the beginning stages of my journey. I did have it. I loved it. It was great stuff. It was really, really good stuff. Never heard the Griffin Diablo 120. I've always had the Diablo 300. Do I believe in measurements? Yeah, I mean, I believe in measurements when you're trying to identify like room nulls and problem areas of your room. I do believe in that to just see where your room has issues. But I don't let measurements be entire the entire thing or factor that allows me to like or dislike a component. Okay, I believe even again, I go back to Michael Farmer. He actually mentioned that Wilson, they say Wilson doesn't measure really well, all this crap, right? But he's like, I don't care. Like it sounds good. And I understand that mentality. Like I respect that because the truth is, listen, if it sounds good to you and it's checking your boxes, I don't care how it measures. It doesn't make a difference to me. Like I could care less how it measures, right? So it's not the indicator. That's the word I was looking for. It's not the entire indicator in what dictates whether you should or should not buy something. Now, I will say this to you: a lot of people who are obsessed with measurements, and I'm not talking about brands. Let me make sure I say that. I'm talking about audiophile consumers. Okay, brands have a reason to do measurements to make sure things are working accurately. Yes, that's a different thing. I'm saying audiophiles like you all right now talking to me. Okay, if you are obsessed with measurements, and I'm not talking about home theater measurements because there is those room correction kits. That's different. I'm talking about measurements where you pull out your EQ mic and you begin to like run those test tones to see if your front speaker and right speaker are okay in the room. Once you become that obsessed, you have an analytical way of being. You're an analytical audiophile, and you're always going to only be drawn to analytical gear. That's a known fact. I was having this conversation with someone not long ago. So if you are that type of persona, that personality that just you have to pull out your microphone and run to your laptop and plug it in and run test tones, left channel, right channel, and you live off of those measurements, and what excites you is, oh my God, my tweeter is measuring flat all the way to 20,000 kilohertz. Guess what? You have an analytical mentality, analytical personality, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's the reality. You mentioned also in Mikey's room that is that high hums. Another level. Do I have a preference for a tweeter? I would say soft dome tweeters and beryllium tweeters are my preference. But that ribbon tweeter from the Borison speakers, that was magnificent. I will tell you, that was incredible. I did own the Levinson 536 monos at some point. I remember having them when they first got released. Unfortunately, guys, and it's part of what I have to do, and I hate to be open about this. I hate to be vocal, okay? But unfortunately, one more time, it is my opinion what I'm going to say, guys. I just don't think the Levinson brand is what it was, okay? I just don't think it kept with the same level of passion. It kept up. It continued to really push boundaries. When Mark Levinson left, it took with it Mark Levinson. He took with himself Mark Levinson. The soul of the company walked out with him, completely walked out of Mark Levinson. And I feel like when Madrigal Labs was building it, it was great stuff. Today, guys, it's good stuff. Yes, a lot of you all will be extremely happy to have it because it does sound good, guys, but it is not the Mark Levinson of the past times. It just isn't. So power conditioners, guys, power conditioners, I primarily recommend power conditioners for your sources first, preamplifiers next. Okay. I find the most drastic changes and the most benefits to come as a result of plugging in your DAC into your power conditioner. Now, there are some power conditioners that simply do not work for some DACs. Perfect example, I don't believe that my synergistic power cell worked really well with the MSB reference DAC that I had here before. Okay, so see that I'm doing the Orender 820. I'm evaluating it. Okay, that's a standalone streamer music server. When I had the MSB not select two, when I had the reference, sorry, in here, the reference just didn't like power conditioners. The reference had a problem with the way I felt like it choked with a power conditioner. I felt like it didn't have the same impact, the same thrust, the same punch, the same projection. Does that make sense? I felt like it was restrained with certain power conditioners. So there are many power conditioners out there. Yes, there are, guys, but just like anything else, guys, not every power conditioner is really well designed, and not every single one of them is going to blow your mind. Some of them, and I'm not going to go vocal right now, and I'm not going to be open about this, but some of them are lackluster. Some of them they leave a lot to be desired, okay? I have to say that. That's improved power cables too. Yeah, Dax improved. I'm reading your comments. Hold on, guys. No, guys, listen. The source is quite important, guys. The source is quite important. Please, by all means, Look at your sources. Spend the most you can on your source. DACs are your DAC, your CD player is of high importance. Okay, do not overlook your source. If you have great amps, great preamps, but your source is in the form of a $500 um, streamer, I got news for you. You're going to be quite disappointed, okay? You are missing out. You cannot overlook and completely overlook the value of a great source. You have to put your money also where the sources are. Source is really it's almost like I have seen it where a source can transform subpar electronics into good electronics. I have seen that. Okay, so sources are very important. The quality of your source. If you have 100 grand, people are asking, if you have $100,000, where do you spend it? Guys, who's a better person to spend 100 grand than me, right? On YouTube? Who? Well, I'm going to tell you. I would say, depending on what you have available to you, I would say, obviously, first of all, the room. You got to look at the room, right? Because I can't recommend what to buy because I haven't seen the room. But I can tell you the speakers, identify the speakers that you want. If you like panels, if you like omnidirectional, if you like, tweeter, woofer, regular box speakers, look at that and figure out, or horns, whatever it is. But I would say your amp, preamp, and your speakers. Sources, I'm torn to not include it, but the first three things I would say you need to look at when you have 100 grand ready to spend are your speaker selection, your amps, and your preamps. Those are the main things I look at. Then the fourth thing, immediately the source, 100%. You don't get to look at the stands. You don't get to look at the footers. You don't get to look at anything else, even the cables, until you are getting close to the end. Cables, not necessarily to the end, but cables, I don't think you can make a call on what cables to buy unless you have the electronic first, right? So that's why I'm saying the electronics need to be first. I have never heard to JMF Labs system. Never heard of ASR audio. DCS versus esoteric. I had the esoteric Grandioso DAC CD player, the K1X. I think it was a minute ago. I think you guys should have seen it on my channel. I keep forgetting the model numbers. Forgive me. Great product. Esoteric is built like a tank. I mean, incredible. They both tend to be on the forward sounding type of thing. It's not. They tend to sound forward. I wouldn't call it bright, but they're not a warm sounding electronic. They're not exactly neutral. They tend to be bright. Okay, a little on the bright side. So but I hear the new esoteric stuff because now they're building their own chips. That I hear that they're now more relaxed sounding. They're not as analytical as they once were. They're actually a little bit on the warm side, which I would say MSB happens to be more analog sounding, a little warmer, more relaxed. Still has all the detail you need, but I would say out of the three, MSB is a little bit more on the left side than the right side. Nordos, EMI. We got 7 minutes to go, guys. So let's see what you guys want to ask before I wrap up my 2-hour conversation with you all. You own. Yes, I do believe the VAC statement would be amazing. The monos would be amazing with AIDA 2s. Absolutely. VAC pre with Pass XA 160. I think that would be a great combination. But I would say Master, the VAC Master, I think would sound great with the Pass Labs XA 160. I'm assuming those are the 160.8s. Have I ever heard of V2s or Vitus? I don't know how to pronounce it. Amplifiers. Yes. Heard about them. I hear great things about them, but I have no experience with the brand. Unfortunately, sonically speaking, I can't quite comment on it. The best DAC I have used so far, I would say, guys, the best DAC I have personally owned so far has to go to the MSB reference. Has to be that because it's the one DAC that I held on to the longest, and it was hard for me to sell it and get and part ways with it. So, but that had to be the best DAC I've owned. Power cord cable. Power cables that I use a combination of Shunyata. Right now, I use a combination of transparent Opus and some Claris Crimson power cords. Right now, I'm running a Claris Crimson on the Arrender right behind the Arrender 820. I'm using a Claris Crimson power cord on it right now. Robert, if you want to talk to me privately about your system, I recommend that you look at my the videos and look at the description of all my videos. I always have my email there. If you want to do a consultation, any of you guys, if you want to talk about your specific system needs, please send me an email, jayaudiolab at gmail.com. Talk to me about your system. Let's set up time. I will say it's not free. I have to be honest, okay? Because I know you guys want free advice, but I can't give everyone free advice. This is why I do this conversation right now, so that you guys get something for free. But if you want dedicated attention about your system, I do have a fee, okay? And we can discuss what my fee is privately. Best streamer for the money, I think it might be the Lumen, the best streamer for the money. A standalone streamer, I think it might be the Lumen X1 probably. Keith, where am I on the cost is no object versus diminishing returns argument? So where am I on the cost no object conversation? Cost no object, guys, is a real thing. It is definitely, in my opinion, the extreme. It is definitely those components that just don't pay attention to having any sort of limitations with regards to design. Okay. But I can tell you that all of my stuff, for the most part, has been cost no object. If you think about my speakers, if you think about my DACs, if you think about my amplifiers, they all have been cost no object. And it's no surprise that I find it to be astonishing, incredible. Like, it's very difficult to hear this level of gear and then go home and listen to your gear. As a matter of fact, when I had a gentleman who flew in, he flew in from out of town. I picked him up at the airport. I sold him my Griffin Mephisto solos that were here. He flew in, okay? So this is what happened. True story. He comes in, he contacts me about the Mephisto solos, and he says to me, do you think those would be my last amplifiers? I am 64, I think he's 67, retired engineer. He says to me he wants to buy his last amplifier. He heard my YouTube channel, he saw videos, and he wanted to fly in. He flew in. Guys, it took him 5 minutes maybe of his time before he said, he looked at me and he says, I'll take them. Like, I don't need to listen anymore. This is phenomenal stuff, right? Again, we're talking about cost no object. He was coming from, like, I believe, Parasound JC1s. So he went from Parasound JC1s to Mephisto solos. Okay. And not only did he buy the Mephisto solos, he bought my Artisana Master Keel stands. Okay. So he wasn't leaving without the stands. He told me, I'm taking the stands because I have nowhere to place them. And I believe the stands are actually helping to what I'm hearing. And yeah, he was right. So he takes my stands, and then he has this conversation about how expensive all this stuff is, how astronomical it is. But now that he went finally from a Parasound JC1 to a Mephisto solo, he can definitely now understand that there is levels to this. There's just absolutely different levels that unfortunately many people will never be able to tap into. Okay, now there are a lot of diminishing returns too. So for you to get an extra 15%, if 15% is really doable, you might be looking at spending 100 grand more just to get another 10-15%. And by the way, oftentimes it's not necessarily just the improvement. You might be hearing something different that you may like more, but you think it's actually better. When in reality, it isn't that it is better. It's just that perhaps the character that you're listening to is more to your liking, but it's not necessarily better. So the law of diminishing returns, guys, as you go up the ladder is larger. The losses are larger. Again, when you're looking at this level of gear, remember you're swapping out a component of this caliber behind for me to get and go up the ladder from a Boulder 3060 right now that you're listening to, right? You see a 3060 right now. For me to go up the ladder from this, guys, I may be looking at $100,000 more. I mean, just quite frankly, I mean, another $100,000 more. So, and am I going to get a $100,000 worth of return? I will not. I will not get $100,000 worth of improvements to go up the ladder from a Boulder 3060. So those are things that I believe people need to keep in the back of their head. In the ultra high end, the losses are larger. And by the way, in case you're wondering, there is oftentimes less fun to be had at this level because there are many less options. You guys that are playing with the gear that is more affordable, you guys have so much more fun, by the way. You have a playground full of toys. But when you get to this price point behind me, there isn't much you can explore, guys. Absolutely, you are going to be with probably 5 different brands, 5 different models, and just playing with those because there isn't 100 like many of you guys have as far as options. Okay, so less fun to be had at this price point. I have to say that there is a lot less fun. Okay, so last question I'm going to address, guys. My view on the Sim Audio 888 monos. Now, if you don't know what the 888 Sim Audio monos, Google them, search them. They are a $120,000 set of monos. They are phenomenal amplifiers from what I can tell. I have never heard them. I did have the Sim Audio 860 version 2. I thought it was a spectacular amplifier on all counts. Amazing amplifier. Um, which also opened up an afterthought, which is should I even think about bringing the 888 Sim Audios, right? Because they are at that level. And I reached out to Sim Audio, guys. I got no response. I called Sim Audio. I got no response. I left the voicemail. I got no response. Guys, simply, there is absolutely no support. There is no contact from Sim Audio. If you guys are working for Sim Audio, know someone who works for Sim Audio. If there's any way you can send this video, a link to this video, and let them know what I said here, I would love to evaluate Sim Audio's 888 in here. And it's and my email is always in the video description, guys. You guys can find my contact information. And I feel like just they are so dedicated into shipping these amps outside of the United States and Canada that we never get to hear them domestically. We never get to play with them. And so I would love to bring a pair of 888 Sim Audios and see what they can do. But once I call and I get no answer, once I speak and I get no answer, once I email and I get no answer, I'm done. Like I'm done. I'm done reaching out to them. But if any of you guys have any sort of getting a hold of somebody at Sim Audio, show them my video. Let them know I've been trying to contact them to see if they can let me evaluate a pair of Sim Audio 888s. I think you guys would agree. I have a room. I have the power cords they need. I have the speaker cables they need. I have the speakers. I have the preamplifiers. I have the source they need. So no amplifier brand can come and say to you all, we are not going to send Jay because we feel he doesn't have the supporting cast to make our product shine. you guys would know immediately that is a lie. Jay has everything any amplifier needs. 240-volt outlet, check. The best power cores that money can buy, check. The stands for your amplifier, checked. I have everything, guys. So when they don't want to send me an amplifier to evaluate, I can't really speak as to why that is. It's obviously their choice, or maybe simply they never heard from me directly, so they might say, "Wow, we didn't even know you were looking for a sure. Let me email you and coordinate these things." So if you can help me facilitate these conversations with brands, guys, I urge you to reach out to brands that you would like to see on my channel. If you have leverage, if you have some sort of contact there, reach out to them. Tell them I'm here looking to evaluate their product, and I have great supporting casts in here that can really showcase what their product is capable of doing. Okay? Thank you, guys, for your time, for your support, for your love. If you're interested in doing a consultation with me, please just shoot me an email at jayaudiolab@gmail.com. Okay? Send me an email. I do have a fee for a consultation, okay? And we can talk about your particular needs that are 100% for your benefit. And I will give you my dedicated time, usually at nighttime or on weekends is when I'm available. And that way we can put together a better system and elevate your entire presentation, okay? And if you're interested in anything from Artisana Audio, the stand brand from Spain, you can just shoot me an email and we can jump on a phone call and we can make something happen for you all. Until the next time, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for all the time. We are almost at 10,000 subscribers. And as you know, with the level of gear that I'm playing with, that means a lot because nobody else is doing what I am doing here, okay? Nobody else is reviewing the ultra high end like I do. Until the next time, peace.